Thank you, everyone, for coming. So many friendly faces. Why not, right? Like, why not start off like that? So thank you all for coming. I'd very much like to acknowledge that the land on which we're gathered here today is a traditional unceded territory of the Cowichan peoples. And I'd especially like to thank the Cowichan elders who have joined us here tonight. Thank you for everyone for coming, but especially I see a few particularly folks of importance. Glenn Mackey is here in the crowd, Freeman of the city, former fire chief. Thank you very much, Glenn, for coming. Mayor Rob Douglas, newly elect, or not elect, newly elect. It's Mayor Douglas, thank you. Tim McGonigal, Mayor for Lake Cowichan. We also have a former mayor, Graham Bruce, of and of other fame and fortune in the crowd tonight. Thank you for coming, Graham. We also have Inspector Bear, RCMP. Thank you for coming, Chris. Many of the city's committee members. There's many here tonight. So we thank you all for coming and for the time that you have put on the committees here for the city. It's very, very appreciated. And lastly, I will introduce our MC for this evening. Is Elizabeth Robinow, as a new partner with Ridgway and Company, but no stranger to announcing new council for the city of Duncan. So thank you for coming, Elizabeth.
Thank you very much, Peter. So we will begin with swearing in our mayor and city council. So, Mayor Staples. Thank you. So I'll just have you repeat after me. I, Michelle Patricia Staples.
I, Michelle Patricia Staples.
Do solemnly affirm that
I am qualified to hold the office of mayor for the city of Duncan. I'm qualified to hold the office for mayor of the city of Duncan.
To which I have been elected.
To which I have been elected.
I have complied with the provisions of the Local Government Act.
I have complied with the provisions of the Local Government Act.
In relation to my election to this office.
In relation to my election to this office.
I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest.
I will abide by all rules related to conflict of interest.
Under the community charter.
Under the community charter.
I will carry out my duties with integrity.
I will carry out my duties with integrity.
I will be accountable for the decisions that I make.
I will be accountable for the decisions that I make.
And the actions that I take.
And the actions that I take.
In the course of my duties.
In the course of my duties.
I will be respectful of others.
I will be respectful of others.
I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration.
I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration.
I will perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law.
I will perform my duties of office with accordance to the law.
Thank you. All right, I will have you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Please sign your oath of office. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please sit down. And for the remaining city council members, rather than swear you in one by one, we'll do a joint swearing in. So, first, obviously the first line is I, so-and-so, so please just say your own name. So I, city council member, do solemnly affirm that I am qualified to hold the office of Councillor for the City of Duncan. To which I have been elected. I have complied with the provisions of the Local Government Act in relation to my election to this office. I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the Community Charter. I will carry out my duties with integrity. I will be accountable for the decisions that I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties. I will be respectful of others. I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration. I will perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law. Okay, I will ask Councillor Bruce to please go ahead and sign the oath. Yeah, just above your name there. Thank you. Councillor Capps. We will get her signature later. Councillor Duncan. Thank you. Councillor McKinley. Councillor Middlemiss. Yeah, just right there. Thank you. And Councillor Newington. Okay, so I will proceed with the address to your newly inaugurated mayor and council. So mayors, councillors, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to address the council at this inaugural meeting. The inaugural council meeting presents the opportunity for the council members, both old and new, to dedicate themselves to their public duty and to acknowledge their obligations and commitment. Tonight, the City of Duncan is congratulating and welcoming one new councillor, Mike McKinley. And applauding and welcoming back councillors Garry Bruce, Jenni Capps, Stacey Middlemiss, Tom Duncan, Carol Newington, and Michelle Staples. Tonight also allows the public to express their appreciation and recognition for the commitment made by each council member. Being on City Council carries responsibilities and duties that are both social and moral in nature, as well as statutory as set out in the Local Government Act. When elected, the mayor and councillors make an oath to uphold these duties, to act fairly, and to avoid all conflicts with issues in which they have a personal interest. This simple ceremony serves to charge the council with these duties and obligations. The residents of this community have placed their faith in the new council and expect them to carry out their promises and duties for the next 4 years. It is also time to recognize the contributions of the mayor and councillors, the contributions that the mayor and councillors will make, and to convey our respect and appreciation. Everyone who takes on the mantle of public office is deserving of our respect and admiration for taking on the public's work, often a somewhat thankless task. To the re-elected council members, we appreciate your dedication to seeing this city develop and prosper. To the newly elected council member, we appreciate your call to duty and public service. It takes courage and commitment to put your name on a ballot. By sacrificing personal time, we also recognize and understand that your family is sacrificing their time with you and you with them. Your family's support and understanding are critical to your ability to serve as mayor and council. We appreciate your patience and dedication to the job at hand, the long hours, the sensitivity and compassion in dealing with difficult situations and in representing the city to the others outside the Cowichan Valley. Mayor Staples, we wish to thank you and the council in advance for all of your hard work and dedication during the next 4 years and for your strong loyalty to our city and your dedication in seeing it prosper. Thank you. So we will now be calling the meeting to order. So I believe you may take your seats.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for that. I'd like to start by again acknowledging that we're on the unceded territory of the Cowichan Nation, and I'd like to thank our honored guests from the Cowichan Nation for being here with us tonight, for our friends and family. We've become that over many years now, and I continue to walk this journey forward with all of you. And to everyone that's here tonight, thank you for coming out for all the different reasons that you're here. It's wonderful to have a full house. And we meet every second Monday, so anytime you'd like to come out, it would be nice to see it this full during the year. And it's always entertaining to some degree or another. So please note that you're always welcome. And so just before we begin, we need to remind each other that in this room, there's different views, there's different ways of expression, there's different emotional intensities and different roads that lead to conclusions. May we combine clarity of mind with kindness of heart, and may we be impartial without bending to strong personalities. May we sacrifice self-interest for the good of the whole, and may we do our work with love and clarity of vision for the benefit of those that we represent. And with that, I'll call this meeting to order. And I'll ask for an approval of the agenda, that tonight's November 7th agenda for the inaugural meeting be adopted as circulated. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. New business. That council receive the 2022 local government election results report from the Chief Elections Officer, Paige McWilliam, dated November 7th, 2022, which includes an account of ballots for information only. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. 3.2, that council appoint Mayor Michelle Staples and Councillor Tom Duncan as an alternate to the Cowichan Valley Regional District Board. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Official Community Plan Advisory Committee Chair appointment, that council appoint Mayor Michelle Staples as the Chair of the Official Community Plan Advisory Committee. A mover and a seconder. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. And that is some of our business for the evening. And with that, I'm going to pass it on to councillors for their inaugural address to all of you. And so who would like to begin? Councillor Newington. Yes.
I want to thank everybody for coming. It's, as Michelle says, it's just absolutely wonderful to see the seats filled. I want to take this moment to thank all those that have supported me in this election. I'm very grateful for all the confidence my family and friends and the community have put in me. Our council have actively promoted inclusion, respect for diversity and individual opinions. Diversity is a source of strength that leads to inclusive attitudes and a full and meaningful participation of everyone to have their voices heard. It is important to listen to and work with all our surrounding jurisdictions to support all that is needed in our communities. I feel it is important that we continue to press both the federal and provincial governments to take responsibility for those issues that fall in their jurisdictions. This will also solve some of the pressing circumstances we have here in the Valley. At this time, I would like to also thank all of our city employees. These folks work tirelessly to keep the city running, to keep us safe, and to keep the city beautiful. I'm very much looking forward to working with council, and welcome Councillor Michieli.
Mayor Staples, council, and city staff. As everybody knows me, I'm not one for speaking, is not my comfort zone in the public, so this will be short and sweet. I'd like to congratulate all who were elected to this table. I'm the newbie on council and look forward to learning the ropes of how it all runs on this side of the table. I'm hoping to bring new ideas to the table as well. Thank you all who came out to vote, and I'm honored to be sitting at this table and looking forward to working with this great council of Mayor Staples and all the councillors. I would especially like to thank my family for all their continuing support that I'm going to be doing for the next 4 years in City Net Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Duncan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you all for coming tonight, and thank you to the citizens of Duncan for continuing to support me on my 5th term here. You know, one of the things that we heard about when we wrote campaigning was communication, so I'm hoping that that we can look at our communication strategies on behalf of the city and perhaps come up with something that encourages more public participation. Actually got page after page here, but I'm not going to read them all. You know, I look forward to continuing to work on the Tourism Advisory Committee with some of the new staff at the DDBIA. We're looking to refresh our tourism plan, and the one that we have is quite successful, but it's been 5 years, so it's time to take another look at it. And the whole object is to get people to come off the highway and come in and support our businesses. In 2018, the residents of Duncan voted not to amalgamate with North Cowichan, but they voted to look at our boundaries. And I think it's time that we took a look at the areas that we're currently providing water, sewer, and fire protection to, and perhaps work with the provincial government and see if we can make them part of the city of Duncan, especially considering that we're going to have to come up with some more tax money to pay for the RCMP. Finally, I'd like to say that the candidates who ran in the last election clearly heard that homelessness, crime, and addiction are an ongoing concern for the community. Not just our community, but communities all over the province. I'm hoping that with some of the changes in the provincial government that we're going to see some new programs. I'd like to hope that the health authorities can come up with some more rehabilitation services. One of the hardest things is trying to get people that are ready to make a move to change their lives into rehabilitation services. So again, we'll do our best to advocate and lobby on your behalf to try and make this one of the better communities in the province. Thank you again for your support.
Yeah, or can I go? Or, okay. Yeah, I'd like to welcome you all tonight. It is nice to see a full room. I really didn't expect to be up here. After the last election, I was determined I would not run again because I hated the election so much. But after 4 years with this amazing mayor and council, and everyone decided to run again, I changed my mind. I honestly, I couldn't have had a better 4 years. This table has been so respectful, and we all have such different backgrounds and very different ages. But we all listen to one another respectfully, and it's been a lot of fun actually being here. Sorry, I can't see very good right now. Yeah, I'm sad to see Councillor Brooke go, but I am excited and welcome Councillor Michieli. I'm excited to get to know you, and welcome to the team. Yeah, I got off to a bit of a slow start last term. It took me quite a while to kind of find my voice and my place. I do have some conflicts of interest from my work, so it took me a while I didn't want to break that, so I was trying to be really careful on like what I could speak to. So I was really thankful for staff to support me in figuring that out. And yeah, times are tough, and a lot of people right now are struggling more than any time in my lifetime anyways. And we have a lot of work to do, and the only way that we're going to get there is by working together as a community. Being kind and compassionate to one another, staying connected, understanding that there isn't one simple fix. The issues that we're facing are complicated. In September, we attended UBCM, and that was really motivating for me. It's really great to be around colleagues and see what other communities are facing. It's easy to kind of, especially coming out of COVID, feeling like we're the only community struggling with the things we are, but we definitely aren't. Yeah, so I'm feeling motivated and excited to get to work. One of my hopes this term is to kind of bring awareness around local government, what we do to my peer group. I feel like my 7-year-old daughter, who helped me campaign quite a bit, knows more about politics than most of my friends do. So that's something I'm hoping to do. And I just want to thank Council for being so fun and respectful, and such a great experience. Mayor Staples for being the fearless, bold female leader that she is. My family for allowing me the space and support to follow my dreams and aspirations. And for Garry Bruce for making me feel needed by helping him with all his technical needs. So thank you guys again for coming.
Thank you very much for the introduction. And hello, everybody, and thanks everybody for coming. It's a fun evening, and it's good to see everybody, and thank you so much. I'm very honored to serve the citizens of Duncan for another 4 years, if you can stand it. And I have been, if I finish this term, if I actually make it, I'll be 80 when we're finished. So there you are. Anyway, being a councillor has been a real eye-opener for me for the 4 years. I mean, I've come from a small business situation where you make your own decisions, for good or bad, and you carry them out for good or bad, and you live with those decisions. Here, you're by committee, and you have all these other people, and I only get the one vote. Anybody want to comment? At any rate, it's been a little bit tough on me. So I didn't always get my own way in the voting department. We talk about that from time to time. And so on occasion, and you're all going to find this very hard to believe, I was really annoyed when I left these chambers some nights. I would go home, and Lori would be there, and I'd be annoyed, and I don't ever get mad, but anyways, and we'd sit and talk about it, and she would say, well, this is not a reflection on yourself or anything, it's just one of those things. And so I came up with the idea that the rest of council has got so much to learn. And so I stuck with that most of the 4 years, and it has done me fairly well, I think. And I have made some very good friends, both on council and with the staff of the city of Duncan, that I totally appreciate. The friendships and the work ethic that happens, as far as I can see, it's a very, very good running machine. And I think our little city looks good. I know we have all kinds of problems ahead of us, for sure, and I will address those as we go along in our council chambers here. But we've gone over 5,000 people, so now we have to pay for the RCMP. Some of that's bad news, because I'm going to make a motion soon. We're going to ask the RCMP to take a 40% cut in pay. They don't seem to mind, so that'll help balance that book. And the other thing too, I have another solution for our population, and that is, and I've said to Carol, if we, because we are 5,038 people or something like that, or some number, so if we just cut off Vista Avenue and hook it up with the municipality, then our population will be down and we don't have to pay for these guys. And I thought that was a pretty good thing. And I would just like to say thank you to the people that helped me in my election, just as we go along here. Bruce Stott and his wife Joy helped so much and kept me on the proper financial page, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you, you guys. And my brother Roger helped. He's not here tonight, and I would like to thank him for his help as well. And Graham, my other brother, is here, and he gave me advice. I don't always listen to his advice, but he gave me advice as we went along, and it was very, very reassuring and good fun. I would just like to say thank you all very much. I will have your thoughts in my mind, and I'm trying to do the best I can to help this city run smoothly and efficiently, and also just be a beautiful city in British Columbia. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I think that what everyone just heard was really summarizes one of the reasons that I also ran again this term, because of the people around this table, because of the way that everyone treats each other, how respectful they are. I think, Garry, how we can have very serious differences and debates, and many of us go home annoyed, Garry, with other people at the end of the night. But we continue to come back together, and we continue to talk through it and work through it, and we don't hold it over each other. We move on, and we do the things that need to be done, and we laugh, and I just cannot tell you how much I appreciate that, but also how much I hope our community appreciates that. Because last time we went to a lot of conferences in a lot of different places, and they called us the Unicorn Council, because it's rare to have that type of a council. We have Jenni is not here this evening. Her daughter is not feeling well, but we have someone under 30 all the way up to close to 80, as Garry told us. And from
not close to 80.
You just said 80 in 4 years, moving towards 80. and so with that, with that comes a lot of healthy conversation. It comes a lot of different perspectives, and working with an incredible team of staff who everyone has already mentioned, but who I cannot, and none of us can say enough about everything that you all do for us, and for your community and what you give. And all of the volunteers in our fire department as well. We are just indebted to all of you always, every day, and none of this would be possible without any of you. And so I think that that's one of the things over the past 4 years where it was not an easy 4 years. We went through a global pandemic. None of us signed up for that. It was not something on the radar. You know, when we knocked on doors last time, it was about homelessness. That was the number one everywhere we went. And as a council, we came together and we said, this is what we're going to address. We're going to do everything that we can in our powers, which is very little, to advocate. We can do that. But to solve this issue takes everyone, not just in our community, but in others as well, and other levels of government. And then on top of it, we got hit a year later by a global pandemic. We had almost an entirely new council. And one of the council members who's been Bob Brooke, who is not with our council anymore. And I'd like to, on that note too, welcome my old neighbor, Mike Michieli. We had shared a fence for many years. And, but all of us that were here, we all worked together to meet the times that were upon us. I knew that I could call anyone anytime. And without that, I know I couldn't have gotten through that 4 years, or that 2.5 years in particular. That was a big hill that we had to climb. And then there was another hill on top of that. And then there was droughts and floods. And I mean that both literally and metaphorically. And we kept coming together, and everyone kept showing incredible courage against oftentimes really unwelcome decisions that we had to make through really challenging times. We as a community came together, and we managed to house over 100 people in our community through a global pandemic. And I don't know if you recognize the amount that actually had to go into doing that. We're a small community. And at the time of before the pandemic, we had about just over 170 people living on our streets. And the fact that together, working with our neighbors and with other levels of government, we managed to house over 100 people. We managed to change not just their lives, but impact to some degree some of the stresses in our community. And we know that that's growing, and that isn't changing or fixing everything. But what it showed us, and what we were able to do, was to try something that hadn't been done before, and to prove that it actually can make a difference in communities. And everyone here, whether they support it or not, should be proud that we're trying to do something, and that those some things that we're doing are actually making a difference and are being recognized across this country. And Councillor Middlemas mentioned the UBCM. We got to present with the City of Victoria and Port Alberni. Port Alberni has just received funding to replicate what we've managed to do here in our community, working together with our neighbors, with our governments, with our service providers. And other communities are doing the same. And it's not the fix, it's not the solution, but it's part of a step to working towards that. And those solutions have to come from everywhere. And we have to get past those places where our frustrations and our anger and those things are all reasonable, and we understand them and we face them too. But we have to move beyond that so that we can actually make change and have courage to take risks, to try and see what works. And if it doesn't work, to figure out what didn't work and try it again. Because that's the only way we're going to move out of this. As a province, as a nation, this is something that everyone is facing. And that's something that we're recommitting to do as a council and as a community. And when I look back over those 4 years, it was the relationships that we had before we went into the pandemic that made everything possible. It was having hard conversations right away. It was addressing the fact that we need to have these tables. We have a table called the Leadership Table in Cowichan, where all the leaders from the different communities come together from all levels of government. Inspector Bear sits on that. Our health Dr. Shannon Waters, the school district, mayors, it goes on, chiefs, and we have discussions about some of the shared issues that we have and how do we advocate together. We went together to talk about the new school, to talk about the hospital, to talk about what happens with the old school and the old hospital. We come together and we will continue to do that with all the newly elected people at those tables. And it's those relationships that got us through the pandemic together. It's those relationships that we turn to when we didn't think that we could make it one more day or through one more unexpected, unprecedented opportunity that came upon us. And being positive some days was hard. But with everyone here supporting each other the way that we do, with our community supporting each other the way that you do, we were able to continue to move on. That song that was shared with us tonight, that song belongs to something, and it's sung at a time when it's at a part of the day when it's really hard for people to keep going. And that song is to pick us up, even when it's hard to keep going. And I thought it was so appropriate for tonight, because we're here, many of us are here again, most of us are here again, but we're still tired from what we've been through. And everyone has found that energy through all of you and through our communities and our families to pick ourselves up and to be determined to keep moving forward. And that takes a lot. And that that you have people up here and in other places in our community that really care about what they do. Because after everything that we've all gone through, to want to do this again is exceptional. And so I applaud all of you, and for our staff for staying with us through all of this. I thank you. And it's those relationships that we'll continue to build. They've come up many times already through other people's words, relationships with businesses. We have anyone who's been down at Town Duncan in the past few months, the past 6 months, year, there's been so many new people, so many people who've retired, so many new people who've come in. Our downtown is reinvigorating itself again. So is our highway corridor. It's reinvigorating itself again. And it's because everybody is doing their part. It's one of those things, it's like going back in time to the way that, people say that the community was here, or the way that my community was when I grew up, where everybody, you knew everyone around you. There was always people who went and cleaned up every morning. There was always people who went and volunteered and went and showed up and did their part to contribute to their community. We love where we live. And we have to continue to love where we live. And all those little things that each one of us does every day, it's a demonstration of that love. And it's a demonstration of how much we care. And it's all those things that each person does, the unseen, the seen, the people who posted all of our social media, the people who you have no idea are out there doing things. Every single one of those things is important. Every one of those acts is an act of kindness, an act of greatness, and an act of community. And that is something we should all be proud of. And the next 4 years, as has been said, will come with a lot of hard realities. There's talk of a global recession. There is more people that are finding themselves without homes. We have an opioid crisis. We have a climate crisis. And many other things that we're faced with as communities. We have in our own community, we have extra costs, but we also have inflation that's happening and hitting everyone in our community. And we'll see more people accessing things like food banks, people we could not have imagined needing them. And with that comes a couple of things. One, that we have to find a way through this and stay connected and not become divisive. And the other, that we have to make those places safe for people, because there are families who need to access those services that, because of stigma, are often ashamed and embarrassed to do so. And we all can play a role in changing that, in letting people know and understand that those things exist for everyone, and that there is no shame in having to access the services that are provided for in communities. And so we're going to have a lot of work to do to make sure that people don't feel that too ashamed to ask for the help that they need. And I say that because, you know, there's so many people now that it's particularly in larger cities, but it is starting to happen in our community as well, that are saying that, you know, people that have full-time jobs working for, whether it's in business or in other things, they're the newest group of people accessing food programs. And they're showing up in business suits and going to work right after. And so, you know, together we're going to have a lot of things that we're going to need to support each other through. And it's not going to be easy, but I believe that we can do it because of what we've been through and because of what I see every single day in this community. And I know that we'll be there for each other. And I just have to remind myself and everyone else, don't believe all the social media chatter. Because I think this election proved that chatter is not the way that people feel in our community. And so we have to remember that. We have to be louder than that. We have to, as they say, make love louder, that we care about each other and we're here to work through all these times together. And that we take care of the first responders and we recognize them and honor them, because they're faced with things that, with more and more pressures every day, with harder things to deal with every day. And they need to know how much we appreciate what they do, and we need to find ways to care for them in different ways than we have before. And with that, we also have big hopes for the next 4 years. We're coming up to our OCP, to looking at, you know, how do we want to grow and where do we want to see ourselves? And that's something that we're working on starting next week again, to spend some more time hearing from all of you, to make sure that we get that right as we can, so that we're looking at, we're walking in the right direction. We're walking in the direction that we all want to go in, and that we all know that we have a part of that. Boundary restructure is something that Councillor Duncan brought up, and that's something that we started talking about before the last election. And we'll see where that leads us as a community. But our community is growing to the point now where it is changing. Our rural areas aren't rural anymore. They're starting to blend together. And there's things that we need to do to look at how we govern and organize differently, and how we take care of each other differently. And our relationships with Cowichan Nation, with people, and with other neighbors. That relationship is growing and changing. We had 7,000 people come out to the Orange Shirt Day March. We went from having 2 years ago, during the height of COVID, having to stand together with Stand Up for Cowichan against racism. We've walked a little bit further every single time that something happens. When the discovery happened at Tecumseh, people came together and stood together and recognized that this is a conversation that we have to have, and that we, as non-Indigenous people, have to educate ourselves and have to show up in new ways and have to recognize what has happened so that we can move forward in a good way. And part of tonight, last term, we had a group of elders that came and they opened for us, and they did a prayer and they sang us in. And as we move forward, one of the things that we did during the last 4 years was retire the town crier position and role. And we did that in order to build a new way forward of how we're going to welcome people into our community, how we're going to welcome people into this space, how we're going to move forward working with the elders and people of Cowichan Nation. And that work we weren't able to start before this term, but we started it, but we weren't able to get to where we needed to go. But we will take those steps, and we'll make that a focus and a priority, so that we know as a community how we want to welcome people here and how we want to welcome people into City Hall into this space. And if some of you were here last time, you'll remember that we shared the story, and I'll share it again because it's important for people to understand that there's different historical places here that have different meanings to different people. And this space that we're in right now, this used to be the Indian Agent's office. And in that space back there, that used to be where they would prepare children to go to residential schools. And we didn't know that last time we were here. We just learned that just before we came into these chambers. And so elders came out and they did the work that's needed to be done to clear that space and prepare it for us to have a new relationship moving forward. And so we carry that work on. And with that grew work like the Hulkaminum Sign project, like the new mural project. That's there's a mural that's going to be happening on just by the Duncan United Church on that big wall that's happening. That's going to be a reconciliation mural. And we'll continue to take steps working with the team of elders. And I'd like to thank Councillor Newington for all of her time on that, and for staff, and for the Cowichan Intercultural Society and the BIA and everyone helping to lead that work, and for the Cowichan elders. And that's how we'll build forward what this looks like moving into the future. And last but not least, never least, is my family and my friends. One of my friends is here tonight receiving an award, and she said, "This is how I have to see you. I have to win an award." But that's kind of how it's been for the last 4 years. And I have many dear friends that are here tonight, and I have my son who's standing up there, and my partner who's sitting in the back room, and other stepchildren that aren't here this evening, and other family. And I can tell you that doing this work takes a toll on our families too, and on our friends, because we don't always come home happy, as Garry pointed out, and they have to hear it. And they don't always get the best of us, and sometimes they get none of us. And one of the reasons I ran in the first place was because of something that my son said to me when I asked if I should do this. And he said, "Mom, you're the kind of people that I want helping to build my future." And that really helped me make a decision that was hard for me to make at the time. And I love you, and I love all of you, and I'm just so thankful that you have not given up on me and that you still support me through all of this, because I know that it's not easy for any of you, and I couldn't do this without you. So thank you, Heichka, and have a good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. And with that, we get to go on to awards, the most exciting part of the evening. Nope, I'm wrong. First of all, we're going to do the oath of office for our new fire department members. I jumped ahead. So welcome back to the floor.
Thank you. All right. So now we are going to be swearing in our new volunteer firefighters. So just give me 1 minute while I find your oaths. Sorry? Oh, yes, please. Colin, very well practiced at this. Okay, so similar to what we did for the new council, we will do a group swearing in. So please, at the appropriate times, say your own name. So please repeat after me. I, thank you, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially, to the best of my knowledge and ability, execute the office of, sorry, you each have different offices, so execute the office of Deputy Chief of the Duncan Volunteer Fire Department, and execute the office of the Assistant Chief of the Duncan Volunteer Fire Department.
To execute the office of the Assistant Chief of the Duncan Volunteer Fire Department.
Perfect, thank you. To execute the office of the Captain of the Duncan Volunteer Fire Department. Do you want to give it to you again? Or? Okay. To execute the office of Captain of the Duncan Volunteer Fire Department. Thank you. And finally, of Chief of the Duncan Volunteer Fire Department. Being appointed for the Corporation of the City of Duncan, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise of such for the exercise of any partially or corrupt behavior or other undue execution of the said office. Thank you. So, Mr. Irving, please sign. Nope, stay right there. So I'm honored to also address the swearing in. Sorry, I can maybe just do this without the mic. Okay. I'm honored to also address the swearing in of 5 new Duncan Volunteer Fire Department personnel at this inaugural council meeting. This meeting presents the opportunity to also recognize members of the City of Duncan Volunteer Fire Department and dedicate themselves to their public duty and acknowledge their obligation proceed to awards.
Should we try the mic? Is it okay? Art, you're up.
First of all, I'd just like to say, you may wonder why there's so many of us being signed in or sworn in. And all it takes is for one person to resign. and everybody moves up, which means that commitment and resource that we've got in the department takes on more responsibility. And I'd just like to thank them all for that. Now I have to just see what I wrote. Chris Irving. Chris joined the Duncan Fire Department in February 7th, 2001, at the age of 19. He was a young, enthusiastic new firefighter and single at the time. Now he is still enthusiastic, but life has changed. He is married to Leanne, who is right there. Yeah. Yeah, his parents are here as well. And they have a young boy rider. Chris has been with the department over 20 years, and over that time has progressed from a probationary firefighter to assistant chief, as you saw tonight. To have stayed for 20 years is something to celebrate, because that is not, it is not that there's very many young people that do that nowadays. Family and other employment issues seem to be a major concern. Chris has learned a lot over the 20 years and is a very competent officer. He is still striving to learn as much as he can. He is a primary member of our rope team and is learning to enhance his forcible entry skills, so just watch out for him if he's in your neighborhood. The enthusiasm has not lessened. He still is looking for as much or for more to learn. It gives me great pleasure to present Chris Irving with his 20-year exemplary service medal and plaque, recognition from the federal government for his service to our community and to the nation. I got it through without causing any blood. Okay, we got first responders here. It'd be easier if I could see it. Make it bigger. Yeah.
Thank you and congratulations, Chris, and thank you for all your service and everything that you give to the city. We're going to move on to the awards part of the night, and I get to start with the first award. And that award goes to someone that I know and love. And yes, I stepped out of the room when the decision was made. But I am so incredibly happy to be able to present this to one of my dearest friends. I think I'm going to read a bio that perhaps you wrote. It makes me want to fill in a lot of blanks, but Coco was born on the unceded territory of the Saugeen people in what settler people call Southampton, Ontario. She's a prolific painter. She's passionate about her work and where she lives. Her works often feature paintings of local individuals and families, showing our colorful and diverse community. Coco is recognized for her generosity to those that live and work in Cowichan. She fundraises for local community groups, including the Wild Wings Gala, Nourish Cowichan, and the Cowichan Valley Basket Society, and has donated her art to the Cowichan District Hospital, where it currently hangs. She's one of those people whose inner child gets to run rampant through their existence. Musical beats travel from the base of her feet and fly out of her hand as paint splats from the brush to the canvas in deliberate disorder. She is blessed with a partner, her love, her Ricky, and their co-created children, Dylan, Jacob, August, and Enya Pena. Seeing her grandson, Artemis Moon, is a brilliant highlight in her life. Art is sacred to her, a complete part of her, and her best is definitely yet to come. Coco, there are so many stories that I could tell, and you are truly an inspiration to me, and you are an incredible parent, and you give so much to our community, and I am just so honored to present you with the Perpetual Arts Award this year.
Mike. No, it's been a really hard year for everybody in the valley. You know, our family has definitely felt some deep sorrow, and I'm just so humble and grateful to be recognized for what I love to do so much, and I'm just so incredibly lucky. Thank you all for being here. And thank you, and thanks for stepping out of the room and giving me an award.
All right, and next up, I left my agenda way over here. We have Councillor Stacey Millimus to present the City of Duncan Perpetual Excellence in Sportsmanship Trophy.
Hey, as a young boy, Kevin wasn't really into sports. His family was full of musicians. Eventually, the allure of minor league baseball, Calgary Cannons, and the NHL Flames provided too much and sparked a passion for sports. Kevin began working at the Citizen newspaper in 2006. And one could argue that aside from a weekend to get married and the birth of his 2 children, for which his wife miraculously waited until after the paper was sent to press for the week, he hadn't taken a proper day off since. To learn about how he is involved in sports, all you need to do is open the community paper from 2006 to the end of this past summer. Kevin Rothbauer has made many significant contributions to local athletics through his involvement with a great number of youth sports organizations. He's covered everything from horseshoes to major multi-sport sporting events. You could always guarantee that if you weren't the #1 team in a league or a team with a winning record, Kevin would cover you and put a positive twist on it. Kevin creates articles that are fresh, full of variety, and very interesting and enjoyable to read. He often includes the personal touch as he goes the extra mile to get the coaches' comments and athletes' perspectives. When a provincial high school championship or BC Summer Games is hosted in Duncan, Kevin's work showcases the hospitality of the Cowichan Valley, along with the sports tournament hosting capabilities of our community. Having this excellent media coverage makes our Cowichan Valley High School sports event very classy and top-notch events. In addition to Kevin's incredible job covering and encouraging Cowichan Valley sports, he has served and continues to serve on the board for several sports organizations. Please join me in congratulating Kevin Rathbauer for the city's perpetual trophy of excellence in sportsmanship.
Thank you very much. And this is the Scroll of Honor, which is, I think, a very distinct and very powerful award to be given out. It's for the actual heart of our community, which is volunteers and people who work tirelessly in the community. And this award goes to Andy Hutchins, who has passed, and he passed in May 21 at the age of 71, right, Kathleen? And Kathleen is here and her two daughters to receive this award for Andy, but I would just like to, I'm just going to read what is here. Andy Hutchins joined the North. You'll see why he is getting this award. He's long serving, but Andy joined the North Cowichan Fire Department, Maple Bay Fire Hall, in March 72 and left in November 2020 after faithfully serving for 48 years, 26 years as an officer, and 22 years as fire chief. So just that alone is amazing in my world. Kathleen, you must have been through a lot just with that, just with the fire department, never mind the rest of his stuff. During his tenure as fire chief, he was a founding member of the Cowichan Valley Fire Chiefs Association and served on the executive for the Fire Chiefs Association of BC. And he provided years of outstanding service and support for the fire service training and education curriculum in BC to the Fire Academy at the Justice Institute of BC. He was well into all parts of this. He was the founding member of the Cowichan Bay Rowing Club. Pardon me? Oh, who wrote this? He was a sorry, Kath. He was a founding member of the Maple Bay Rowing Club, and of course, Maple Bay, of course, yeah, sorry, and organized the annual Cowichan Lake Regatta for 35 years. He we're going to give him full credit here tonight, Kath. We'll give him full shot here. Andy was also instrumental in the development of the Cowichan Sportsplex and served on the executive of the Sportsplex. A beautiful, beautiful place in my world. That's gorgeous over there. He was also vice chair of the Sports Wall of Fame Committee, which is located inside the Aquatic Center. He was a long-time board member for Kids Sport Cowichan and served as vice chair for over 10 years, working diligently to help raise funds to ensure local children in our community had access to organized sport. Andy assisted in overseeing food distribution at the BC Seniors Games and sat on a tax review committee for the District of North Cowichan. Andy passed away in May 2021, at the age of 71. Please join me in honoring Andy Hutchins for his dedication and hard work to our community. Thanks, Tom. Thank you. Thank you. And Kathleen is here with her two daughters. If you'd like all to come up, that would be great. And Kathleen will be accepting this on behalf of Andy. And thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. One daughter can come up. Oh. You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah.